I like to have fun when I play music. Music for me, like performing it, is just as much for my enjoyment as much as hopefully other people's. So it has a purpose that fulfills me in some respect, but I think it's about having fun in general. Live music should always be. So if you can translate that to the audience and they can enjoy the experience, even if it's weird or anything like that, then I think you've done something good. And hopefully that's the type of musician I aspire to be. I grew up listening to a healthy dose of like punk rock, 90s punk rock music. But I always liked a bit of country music and rockabilly. Anything sort of in the middle is my sweet spot. The thing I enjoy, and I presume other people enjoy, and look for when they go to a live venue to watch a live show, is to be able to sort of connect in some way to what's happening on stage or with the other people in the audience, right? So any venue which can cultivate that sort of feeling where people can feel involved and close to it, sort of not separate from it, but part of it, then I think that's a venue doing the right thing. Initially, the first thing that caught my attention obviously was that it was going to be a new live music venue. So I always appreciate anyone or any place that's, trying to promote music and live music in Hong Kong. But then I think the thing that everyone notices when they come here, and I think it's really special, is that the Aftermath seems to cultivate it's like a hub of creativity. So there's all sorts of different things that are connected through the Aftermath, comedy or art or weird to some people and very interesting and niche to other people for various sort of interests or something like that. So I think being a hub for essentially a community, which would have been separate from each other and sort of not in touch with each other, but through the Aftermath, it sort of has created a community of unlikely heroes, Made out of gold, so I've been told. I mean, I don't really know too much about too many other music scenes to sort of give a really good comparative breakdown. But I mean, I can certainly figure out what I like about it, and there's areas where I think there's room to grow or develop. I think a lot of the music in Hong Kong seems to come out. People do it for the joy of it, not necessarily only or straightforward for money or for something else. It's to get nothing out of it other than the enjoyment and the pleasure of being involved in that sort of thing. And I think that's really nice. That's really lovely, and that's one of my favorite parts about, going to see bands in Hong Kong and meeting other musicians and stuff. It's put a lot of pressure mentally on me to think like I should be doing something productive during this time. That's probably the only thing. So therefore if I want to write something, I'll probably be disappointed if I don't, because I'm running out of excuses during this period. It might affect how often you play or sort of try to write music or do something, but in the end, it's not going to change music for you. Or it hasn't for me. Music and live music, there's almost something spiritual about it. It's deeper than perhaps something we can really articulate fully or grasp fully, but it's in us and we can all feel it. That's why we react to music differently and all that stuff. So I think that's what's really important. And the further detached we get from being in that feeling of being involved in it, I think we'll start to miss out on some of those great, wonderful things that, it can give us. So that would be my concern, that it gets harder to feel involved in that. it's a lot of fun. It's kind of weird. You got to think about it like you've got to sort of be very happy to make a fool out of yourself or put it out on the line, right? Like, but at the same time, that can feel really good or it can work out terribly. But you know, there's always an element of thrill with regards to that. You have no idea you're gonna make a complete ass out of yourself. Maybe it sounds good today. Maybe it didn't. The strings aren't in tune. Like, all sorts of stuff. But you have to push yourself, and I think that's one of the most exciting things as a performer. Like, I think it's pretty cool. Without it, I think we'd be missing out on a whole potential opportunity to reach new audiences, to try different sort of things. But I don't think it's going to necessarily take over live music, you know, beyond the virus and whatnot. Like, obviously, it's almost like a knockoff version of the real experience. If you want to go to a live show, like, you're not going to get that. But it's a great way to discover bands. You get a sweet video, like, and people can watch at the same time. That's quite nice, and that wasn't happening super often a long time ago, was it? You know, it's sort of relatively new, so that's quite exciting. But there's a lot of it. You know, how do you know what to watch? That's the hard part, I guess. Coming to you every Wednesday at 7 o'clock at the Aftermath. The happy hour jam with me. Sorry, that was pretty bad.